Hey guys, thanks very much for checking out another episode of Friday Focus. Hope you've had a fantastic week. I know it's getting a bit chilly at the moment, so hopefully you are staying safe off the ice. Wrapping up, although you guys north of the border are probably used to this more than what we soft southerners are anyway. But just wanted to jump on, do our recaps, obviously show you my process going through my training over last week and the coming week. So let's dive straight back in. So a bit of a training recap. So some of you aware from obviously the last episode, I was getting ready to do English qualifiers last Saturday. So what we had there was I was meant to do some potentiation work on the either the Thursday or the Friday, but things got a little bit manic and a bit chaotic, so I didn't actually get a chance to do that. So that's why there's nothing there on day one. Obviously that was the Friday. Now I really felt like I suffered for that. It took me quite a while to get into the sets, if that makes sense. So I definitely know going forward that that is an absolute must for me, in terms of that getting that potentiation and that primer in there as well, because I just felt like I was probably too much in a parasympathetic state, so the body was just kind of in recovery mode too much. And when I first started doing my jerk set, could just feel I was quite a few percentages off in terms of just feeling snappy and smooth. That might have been a mindset thing. Who knows? But I definitely felt like I wasn't firing on all cylinders on Saturday. But that being said, I'm happy enough with my results. It's by far probably the nowhere near maximal. I definitely held quite a lot back. Just for the simple fact is I wanted to make them test sets, but I wasn't willing to sort of push myself that much where it'd take me such a long time to recover. So I did take the conservative option, rightly or wrongly so. We'll find out when we get to a competition. But like me and Simon were discussing in the coach talk, it was a bit of a surreal feeling because it wasn't really a competition. It was a qualifier, so you were going for the numbers. Um, so it was a bit of a surreal feeling. So the motivation to really push and drive on probably weren't as high as what they have been in competitions and stuff anyway. So that being said, obviously it was a 10. It was a long day. I I was completely drained by the end of it. Do you know? In individually, the sets were probably around about a 7. Um, in terms of perceived effort, but overall the actual training load itself and the day was probably a 10 because I had quite a lot of guys who were going for competition, so obviously that takes a lot of energy out of you and stuff as well. So I've noted that down as a 10. The next day I went for a 10k run, just to loosen off, just get some fresh air, just to get moving. Obviously, spending all day in a gym the day before, it's just nice to get out and get some fresh air. And then Monday and Tuesday, I did nothing, just really relaxed, try to chill out and recover as much as I possibly could, uh, fighting the urge to get stuck back into training, and then I was straight into a new training cycle. Um, it was a perceived 10 because of the workload and the volume that were in there. So there's quite a bit there. But I understand why my coach is programmed those sets. Um, so I I went at a pace that was strong enough. Was kind of the middle range in terms of the prescribed rep range. So I went for the middle range. Overall, again, probably a fatiguing set. But that being said, I was just really excited to get stuck straight back into a program. Really excited about this focus and the program that's been designed for me. So really excited to get stuck into that. The following day was a run and snatch set. So what I decided to do on that one is that run. I decided to run that in the conditioning zone based off my Morpheus band. So that made it quite difficult in terms of I was running for at 170 beats per minute, so quite a quick pace for half an hour, and then straight into um, 4 minutes of swing snatch with the 32. So yeah, decent workload. Today I've just literally completed my high performance recovery training. You might see that in a different post. But yeah, felt really good there, and it's actually bumped my recovery score up 2 points. It was down a bit this morning. Um, so I've decided just to juggle the training around because I know that the workload that I've got coming up in the next training set is quite high. So, and that's the beauty of doing these RPEs and looking at your HRV and monitoring your heart rate and actually planning out your weeks. Um, a program should always be fluid. It should always allow you the adaptability to change sets on different days as and when's needed. Um, so if you do a hard day and then you do a medium day, your program needs to allow you to have the easier days in there. Now, obviously, if it's a set structure, it's nice if the body's able just to slot in like that. But because of so many external factors, that's not always the case. So again, this is why I really try and emphasize to the guys, really do feedback your RPE, send me your heart rates, let me know how it feels, etc., etc., so we can make sure that the plan's completely fluid and adjustable to the individual, and it's not just some rigid program that's going to actually force the person on a downward curve. We want to make sure that we're constantly going up. It's going to be like an up and down roller coaster, but we want to try and make sure that it's still constantly going up rather than just a program that's just beating you down and down and down and down, where then potential injuries occur, demotivation occurs, and results start to plummet as well. So that was the week. Previous week that's just happened. Just like I say, the week after a comp, I always make sure I do the reflective practice. You might have seen the video, and that pretty much leads us on to our next one. So obviously it's a fresh cycle, fresh focus. Because of the qualifiers the way they were, it was good to have a feeling of where I'm at and get an understanding of what I need to improve on. And then obviously in the reflective practice off the back of that, it's always good just to sit down towards the back end of every cycle, and just have an understanding of where you're at. And from doing that, highlighted a few things. Obviously, the macros was one of the ones that was going to give me the biggest bang for buck in terms of my nutrition. There was things on sleep on there, so decided to start being more diligent in terms of the Morpheus band again. Starting to use that a lot more frequently, and already within the space of a week or so, I have started to gather some really good data, and this is already starting to have an effect on steering the training, just like it did today. So, like you say, I reviewed my training. You will see that in a reflective practice video. If you haven't checked that out, just check it. I'm sure it's down in the collection below. And I've set some new goals based off those sets and based off the targets. Now, obviously, there weren't 100% max effort tests. There probably were max in terms of the overall load for the day was kind of up there, but during the sets, I definitely felt there's definitely a lot more to give in terms of that. But that being said, I have based my goals for the March competition over in Denmark. I've based my goals on that. I will be competing biathlon. Just to change things up again, but also it's just going to force me to adapt and become a bit more of an all-rounded lifter. I felt like I've been on a long cycle for a really long time, so I've sat down, discussed it with my coach, and the next focus, the next driver is going to be it's certainly for the first half of the year is going to be biathlon focused. There'll still be some long cycle and some clean sets in there, but generally speaking, it's going to be biathlon. So lots of jerk, lots of snatch. And I know for those, I'm going to need a certain specific type of endurance. So going to have to spend a lot more time just getting used to really driving through and getting used to having the weight above my head a lot more. Probably a little bit more quad dominant. Obviously, snatch, there's going to be a bigger emphasis on grip endurance, managing that as well. So lots of new little focuses in there, but really excited to get going because the targets I've set are quite high, but definitely I feel confident I'm going to be able to sort of smash through those as well. And then obviously I've put everything that I need in place now to help me get to where I need to be in terms of my assistance work and that full performance circle. So like I say, my fitness pal, I've been following that diligently all week, following the macros set out by Sai. So I'll see how that my weight reacts to that. It's obviously just opened my eyes in terms of my macro splits was a little bit further apart than what I thought it was. So obviously I'm being able to address those fairly quickly. Like I say, the Morpheus band is great because obviously it's giving me my HRV score, it's my resting heart rate, it's forcing me to track my sleep, and also it's given me a specific conditioning zone for that day dependent on the relevant data. So it means that when I'm pushing either on a run or on the bells or whatever it may be, I've got a specific zone that's going to be applicable for me on that date, which is going to be fantastic in terms of making sure that my training is completely agile and it's applicable for me. Okay, but some of you might know this, some of you might not. When you first start a new cycle, it's very easy to get carried away in the first week or 2 weeks or so. I've certainly had it in the past. It's something my coach knows quite well. So what he does, he's able to just rein me in a little bit and say let's just see how things go in the next couple of weeks, because that's the true reflection of where I'm going to be at. So basically, I'm just really making sure that I'm staying focused. I'm not trying to rush too far ahead and looking at the program and trying to get excited about a certain point. I'm trying to make sure that every single session I'm just breaking it down into real small goals, daily goals. That's just allowing me to get closer to where I want to be. But again, it's quite easy to rush quite far ahead of yourself. So I would recommend just try and break that down into those daily goals. So going forward, the week ahead, this is my predicted training load. So obviously today I've just finished a high performance recovery training session, and that included full body foam rolling, for the reason being is it would just allow me to achieve larger ranges of movement during my mobility. It's not really soft tissue work in terms of breaking down adhesions or any of that kind of stuff. It's literally I'm just trying to switch off certain sensory inputs just so I can sort of really maximize that range of movement in terms of different mobility exercises I was doing. So and then I finished off with some throws on a 5 kilo med ball, lots of slam work, lots of rotational work in there, literally just 2 sets of 4, but making sure that was really aggressive and powerful. Finished off with concentric deadlifts and concentric sled pushes, so real big drives. Again, all I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to drive recovery, so basically getting the heart rate up, driving new proteins, and really just elevating that hormone level so I can get ready for the sets tomorrow. So tomorrow, looking at the sets ahead, probably predicting it's probably going to be around about an 8 RPE. Obviously, it's very subjective on the day, but looking at what's ahead, it's probably going to be an 8, might even be going up to a 9. but we shall see. And then Sunday, I will be hitting a run as I always do, just keeping that low, and then just start to again just ramp it up a little bit on the Monday, and then I'll just start to follow that bit of a pattern there. Now, there's going to be some bits of adaptation around this program. Basically, it's 6 days a week of training. Then there's the assistance exercises and assistance sessions around the back of that as well. So that means that there's going to be probably an additional 3 sessions on top of that. So again, that's why it's really important to have something like Morpheus to really drive your recovery, drive the accountability in terms of seeing where you're at, making sure that you're not pushing too far and you're not going in that overload, which is then just going to end up really fatiguing the body. Okay. Again, that's the beauty of a flexible program. And it's something that I try and offer my guys as well, is that flexibility to be able to adapt and change sessions is as and when is needed, rather than following a real strict process, because that can only lead to one way sometimes. And if you're trying to follow a PB every single session, you can soon start to plateau and start to get diminishing returns. So really important to have that adjustable, and that's something that I try and push with my guys. But that's why it's really important that RPE is fed back to the coach, so they can get a lot from that and obviously change any sessions that is needed. So that's pretty much how my week ahead is looking, guys. So hopefully you guys have got a good one planned. Let us know your thoughts. I know there's going to be some guys in England who are going to be looking at qualifying at the weekend, so really interested to see how training's gone for that. So let me know. As always, guys, it really helps if you just subscribe to the YouTube channel, because there is some stuff, the way Facebook changes stuff around, some of the stuff that we post in the community doesn't always jump to the top of the list there and then. So make sure that you sign up to the YouTube channel. So just click subscribe. You'll be notified every time a new video gets uploaded. Also, if you do go into your Facebook settings, and then on the groups, just make sure that you have got the Kettlebell community marked as a priority, and then you will get notifications every time somebody posts in there as well. But as always, guys, just reach out. Any questions? Hopefully you're finding these Friday focuses really useful. Hopefully it's giving you a few ideas on your own training and stuff as well. But any questions, just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help, guys. But until next time,